Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Jam and Cheese Show. Straight in after round 18, which was an amazing round. Cheese, it was a big celebration week, and your voice is paid the price.
Yes, my voice is the haka took it all out of me.
Okay.
Yes.
If that's what you want to run with, mate, that's what you're going to run with.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I was leading with a lot of energy and my voice is fucked, listeners.
Nothing to do with anything else?
No, nothing to do with the after-match celebrations. Nothing. Nothing at all.
What did you do after the game for Jared?
No, we sort of had a few beers in the locker and then we went out to a place called Public Bar in Bondi, a favourite of ours, and Jared sort of sorted out like a bar tab and stuff. And he didn't even show up. So we stayed there waiting for him for a long time and he didn't even rock up. And it was like the whole team was there, like all the reserves, Boyd Cordner, everyone was there. And he no-showed it. So
Absolutely no-show?
He's a family man and that just proves it. He went out to dinner after the game with his family and his missus probably talked him out of it.
Okay.
He's probably upset. He's probably going to get a fine for that head eye. So there's another $3,000 out of the kids' pockets.
Mate, he was always going to get sin-binned yesterday.
Yeah. That was the script, really.
Mm.
It was a tough slog, but when I was out there, like, defending the line, when he was off, it was probably the hardest moment of my rugby league career.
Oh, really?
Mate, there's 6 sets, straight into the Dom Young. They kicked a 7-tackle set. Straight into Dom Young Shepherd.
Obstruction on play one. Yeah, giving a penalty away with the ball is a no-no at the best of times.
And after what we went through, Jesus Christ.
He got 3 weeks as well. Who? Jared's got 3. Yeah, Jared will
3 weeks.
Is that with the early guilty plea? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that bad news, Charlie. Jesus Christ.
Great interview. I don't know if we can put it in the show, but a quick thinking Brent Reid. He was so patient, waiting for Jared. He probably had too much time to think about the question because Brent Reid asked Jared about the sin bin, talking about it, and Jared was almost like, why are you bringing this up? And then Brent Reid has just pulled the biggest reverse and gone, I actually thought it was a pretty harsh sin binning. It was like,
he knows what he's doing. He's a people pleaser, Reedy. But yeah, he tried to interview me after the game, and I said I'm banned from interviews now after the brown paper bag comments. I've banned myself. I didn't even get banned for the Roosters. I just banned myself.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, it was a great win for the Roosters. Looks like they're going to be cementing their top 4 place now. Cheese, you guys got the bye this week coming up.
Yes, we do. I think we're heading to Central Coast for a little camp. I don't know what we're doing, but I'm not too excited. I've actually got a really bad headache at the moment, and I don't feel like driving to the Central Coast today. I'll be quite honest with you boys.
Jump in with someone. That's the way to do it.
I've had a month off the piss, and this hangover has hit me like a steam train. I don't know what's going on, but I used to be invincible when I was about 24. Never got a hangover, and now I'm just an ordinary human.
Mate, it gets worse. Trust me, it gets worse. Brought to our attention, Cheese, as well, from Charlie White.
Don't say it.
Bit of waiting for a mate vibe. Like, I can remember the video, but I can't remember it. But apparently it looks like
the amount of people that have said I look like him is disrespectful to me. I'm actually a good-looking bloke, and that guy is putrid. It's not nice. The boys always call me that guy, and it burns me, and I've got no comeback ever. Like, if I'm arguing with someone, you just go, "Oh, you look like the waiting for a mate guy." It's like, sweet, thanks, God.
Well,
I've got nothing.
We'll get stuck into some of the performances and look back at what was a great round of football. It was so exciting. Yeah, so the Origin teams are in New South Wales. Only well, Best is in. That is a change. Latrell Mitchell cruelly suffered a Liz Frank injury in the game against Parramatta, so Best wins the spot over Tommy Turbo. Mitch Barnett in for Olakau'atu. See, I don't mind this because I think if Madge Maguire's looking at it, Crichton and Martin are playing so well for they're 80-minute back rowers. They don't need to interchange, and they almost need 80 minutes to have an effect on the game. And the more they're out there, the more dangerous they become. So Olakau'atu basically was getting minimal time coming on in the middle. So I think with Mitch Barnett, he's more of a middle than he is an edge, but he can cover the edge, if that makes sense. So if a Martin or a Crichton goes down, he could just slip right in there.
Yeah, well, he's more likely to go into the middle than on the edge. But I think he bloody deserves the spot after his game on the weekend. He had nearly 30 carries. He's a bloody tough bastard.
He is.
And he gets up and bangs blokes, and I love the way he plays, and he deserves that spot. He has to work for his 30K now, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
And Bradman Best, he played good last time, so he probably deserves it as well.
Yeah, it would have been a difficult one to leave Trebojevic out, because I thought he was one of the walk-up starters for New South Wales before a ball was kicked this year. But then maybe I'm a bit biased to... We're thinking like that's 2020, 2021 Tommy. He's probably not been at that peak of his powers for a number of years now through different injuries. So,
yeah, well, it's a big risk picking someone like Turbo in case of injury, and he's a bloody good player, but there's always that risk that he goes down and you're left with a replacement back to go in. And oh man, he's one of the best players in the comp when he's on, and I just wouldn't have picked him either.
Yeah, probably just need a little bit more game time. Just on Bradman Best coming into Blues camp, slight hamstring strain, so that'll be getting checked out. I think Matt Burton has come in on sort of standby for Bradman Best, but everyone's confident he can play. I think that the mood in New South Wales camp would be very positive. Like they'd be looking around the room thinking we can get up to Queensland here and get a job. It is going to be a different beast. It's funny how you review games and what you take from previous games. How much do you take from the second half of game one? How much do you take from the first half of game two? What do you want to change from the second half of game two as well? So it's an interesting one because this is just going to be so different. It's all on the line. It's so exciting. And the side that Queensland have picked, some forced changes through injury in the outside backs. Great to see Dane Gagai coming in, Selwyn Cobbo returning, Ponga off the bench as well. But one of the surprising things with this Queensland team is no Dave Fafita.
Yeah, it's a strange one because he's been playing bloody good footy. The Titans have been winning games, and yeah, you kind of feel for him. You don't know, I don't know what else he's got to do to get in that squad, and he's kind of that X factor that can score from any play. But yeah, Catewell played a really good game on the weekend. Ponga is a massive risk, but Coates out is massive for me. He's got that try scoring ability from kicks that other players don't have, and it's just one weapon from the Arsenal taken out of Queensland. And yeah, I think Queensland are in trouble, guys.
Oh, really?
Yes, the way New South Wales started that last game, I think they can just roll off the back of that and do a job on them. But I'm a Queenslander, and I would love the Queensland spirit to hold through. But
I reckon you go back and watch that game, the actual start, the first 8 minutes, Queensland were on top.
Yeah.
Sewer makes that break. There's no one with him. Walsh was looking dangerous. And then they went 23 minutes and had 3 sets of football, conceded 4 tries. No team, no matter what changes you make, is going to be able to compete in a game like that.
Who do you reckon's winning?
I keep changing my mind. But
That's not a good answer.
Just the laws of probability and history, Queensland in Queensland,
Yeah.
like that for me, when I saw these squads come out, I thought Billy Slater would have gone and knocked on Papali'i's door, down in Canberra, and that had been spoken about by a number of pundits in the media. And I was in agreement with them. I think that would have been a smart move had he got him in. You know, with no Gilbert, no Flegler, and no Tino, they are light in the middle, and I think that's where they've been exposed a little bit. Especially when you're looking at the benches with Spencer Leniu, the best bench player in the game. Like, he was enormous yesterday. Those carries off the kickoff.
He was stupid.
Like, it's
what
not
were the
normal.
Dragons thinking? But like, he did 2 carries. He ran nearly to the 40 off the kickoff, and they go, "We're going to kick it to him again."
Well, why did Sam Walker brush him on that one?
Yeah,
So Sam Walker
I
catches
have no
it.
idea, and the crowd wasn't happy either.
It was hilarious. The first time I've ever seen people booing when people pass the ball.
Spencer said to him after the game, "Don't you ever skip me on the kickoff carry again."
Yeah.
And I dare say Sam Walker won't do that again.
Well, actually, after that, the Dragons started kicking to Lindsay Collins. Anyway, just that middle battle. That for me, I think it's on the face of it, on paper, it does look to be advantage New South Wales, and with even their edge back rowers. And look, the bench of Queensland, like Harry Grant and Kalen Ponga, we've not seen a bench like that before.
Well, I judged Queensland when they picked Selwyn Cobbo and Harry Grant on the bench. I thought that was a stupid idea, but it turned out to work perfect for them. And yeah, it's going to be strange to see what they do with Ponga as well. Like, is he going to go on in that 13 role? Is he going to have Ben Hunt, Harry Grant, and Ponga on at the same time?
No.
Yeah, you just don't know. And I dare say you'd have Harry Grant and Ponga in the middle at some stage. And at that same time, you're going to have Spencer Leniu, Mitch Barnett, and Angus Crichton. That's the biggest problem for Queensland at the moment. The last game Angus Crichton played, he absolutely dominated them.
Yeah, and also when you think sometimes, we'd swap an edge back rower and they defend in the middle, and maybe that's Capewell, who's not the biggest defender. So if you've got, you say to Harry Grant or Ponga, you can defend at 4, then you've got him and Dearden next to each other, or him and
Well, you're saying Harry Grant or Ponga defend at 4 man.
Well, yeah, and then bring maybe the edge back row into the middle, but then you get two halves next to each other on that edge.
Yeah.
But then, or also Capewell, if he comes in from the edge back row defending at 4, he's not like the biggest middle that's going to bash people.
I just would be scary if Angus Crichton was running at Daly Cherry Evans and Harry Grant, or Daly Cherry Evans and Kalen Ponga.
Yeah. Or with Tommy Dearden. Yeah. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this bench rotation works, and just the style of play that Queensland are going to implement to get this victory, because it was there was selections in game 1 that was a surprise. I was interested to see what would have unfolded in that game, and then obviously the Walsh incident made it just look like a stroke of genius. But if that doesn't happen, how is this going to come into how is Billy Slater going to manage this bench? Also, no Fafita. I'm not surprised, because for me, as an observer of football, Fafita's playing better than he was last year. I think this is arguably his career best form. His involvements are higher. But Coach Slater spoke before or around the non-selection of Fafita and said he's watching every player eligible for Queensland with through the magnifying glass, every aspect of their game. There's areas of David's game that he needs to work on, and he'll be playing for Queensland again. Now, that was at the start of Origin. For me, I'm not watching the game like that, but there doesn't seem to be anything really changed in David's game in that time. It's still the same. Like, what you see is what you get with Fafita. So, for me, he brings that devastation, that strong carry, but there's obviously areas of David's game that we as fans aren't seeing, that Billy is worried about, that Capewell will do, but David currently isn't doing. And obviously with Capewell, you're not getting the barnstorming run and the try scoring, that game breaker. But maybe they don't. Maybe with Ponga and with Grant and with the other strike that they've got and with Walsh, they don't need that game breaker.
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely the effort areas that Billy's looking at. He comes from the Melbourne system. That's what Craig Bellamy loves. All those effort areas, the time between not having the ball and having the ball, like all those little transitions, and Capewell does those well. And maybe Fafita, it's hard when you look at it and you think, you pick Fafita for the devastating runs, but what's the negative side of having him in the team? And you sort of weigh it up and go, would you rather have this, David Fafita that's got the devastating runs, or this Capewell that's going to work hard for your teammates and stuff like that? So, I guess Queensland will have to keep the ball in play, try play like they did in game 1, where they kicked early, kept the ball in play, try to tire out the big boys, and they've got a lot of hard workers in their team. But yeah, I find it hard to see what Billy's game plan is, and Billy's a lot smarter than me, especially right now.
It must just be that he feels as though he doesn't need that style of game breaker, that he's got enough creativity and he's got enough points in his team. He must think that he's got enough points in this team, and you pick Fafita for points. You don't pick him for effort areas. Although I'm not watching his game like as closely as what anyone would be because I know he's under Hasler, that is a stickler for those. So I
personally would have him in the team,
mate. I'm with you. I'm surprised Sue has been left out as well, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't know. Did he get in trouble for that head eye?
No, don't think so. No, just not picked.
Yeah. I don't know. It's alarm bells ringing for Queensland for me. I'm a little bit scared being a Queenslander myself.
It's hilarious to see all the commentary and the wording that's used. So,
But Queensland, mate, when they're back against the wall, we fight our best. So,
no, just like the
there's no way we can win this game. No way.
Yeah, that's what they'll all be saying. No, but the journalists, when they say, Queensland, they've had to force changes. And then, when they talk about New South Wales, they've been dropped. There's Queensland journalists that are probably saying Latrell Mitchell's been dropped because of his Liz Frank, mass exodus, Maguire chops Olakawatu. It's just funny how the media choose certain words to describe the same event, but it's different because of the team that they're talking about. It's hilarious, and lots more to come on that. As Billy Slater said no to an open media day, which is that a story within itself? Well, for some,
he probably just doesn't want to do so much work. He just wants to lax back.
But it's the players' open media day. So they've said no. The NRL allegedly are looking into it, whether or not that's allowed because of the broadcast.
If I'm a Queenslander, I'm absolutely stoked with that.
No access.
No open media day. That's perfect. Just chill out.
But it's not even a day. It's an hour.
Hey, you can do a lot in an hour.
You can affect an Origin in an hour by saying the wrong thing. Just back to Clubland before we get into the round 18 results. Parramatta have finally made a call. Jason Ryles comes in. Now, Cheese, you were coached by Ryles. What are your memories from him, and what will he bring to this Parra team?
Well, he was our defence coach, so he'd be highly defence-orientated coach, I think. And the thing about Ryles is he's a fun guy to hang around and fun guy to have a laugh at, but when it's time to be serious, he's got that ability to bring the whole crowd in and really dominate pretty much the space. And I'm super stoked for him because he's been wanting this, role for a long time, and I'm stoked for him. But he's a bit of a larrikin, so it'll be interesting to see how he works the crowd. But stoked for him.
He's obviously a big human being, so he brings a lot of presence. I'm excited to see how he goes. He's sort of been that next coach in waiting after Cam Serraldo. But believe that he was first in line for the Dragons job. He saw some things behind the scenes and
he came from good systems as well. He's been Melbourne, Rugby, and Roosters. There's not many better teams you can come from and learn from coaches like Trent Robinson, Craig Bellamy.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of experience, and I think he'll do a good job.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he goes. He's had that ability to say no, and he knocked back the Dragons job because some circumstances weren't met, if you believe what you hear. I've also heard that, money isn't a massively motivating factor for him. That's why he went on those journeys following Eddie Jones with England Rugby Union to get that level of experience. I know he would have been paid for that, but that's...
kindergartens, he owns a heap of those, so you know how expensive those are. Yeah. He's not worried about the cash.
Yeah, so I think that's a great thing. He's motivated by wanting to be a successful head coach. What do you think he needs to do at Parra? I
don't really know. To be honest, Parra are a great side on paper.
They are on paper.
Yeah, on paper. And with Mitch Moses and Clint Gutherson, if they're healthy, they're a completely different team to what we've seen this year. But I don't really have the answers for you, Jimmy. If I had the answers, I'd probably sign up to be a coach and do that job as well, because footy's getting tough and it's sore on the body at the moment.
You're right. They are. You look at that roster on paper and you think they should be playing playoffs, and even the strength of our competition.
Bottom of the table.
They are bottom, yes. They are such a big club with a proud history, which can hang over them at times. I wonder if he'll go the Shane Flanagan route of just pure coaching, or the Gus Gould, Cam Serraldo of
development.
We're gonna shift. We're gonna need to shift some players on, and then pure coaching, because we've seen at the Dragons that instant result that Flanagan's come in and same players. Ray Fatalamarina is the only signing that I can recall for the Dragons made this year, and he's got them from being battling from the wooden spoon, favourites for the spoon, to now very much in contention to play finals. Where Cam Serraldo, Gus Gould go into the Bulldogs, it took them a year to churn over players, brought in a system that is, I'm watching it, and it works really well, but it's bloody hard to do, and you need to be fit as anything to do it. People don't realise how the biggest strength of the Bulldogs is their fitness. Now, every club works hard. I know what they're doing there is another level. So they needed to have this strategy and bring in the right players to adapt to their system. So for Ryles, for me, I reckon that the Parramatta Eels, they got too much of the same thing. So with Borlo, Campbell-Gillard, Lane, Cartwright, Mattison, Hopgood, for me, they're all attacking-minded footballers.
Yeah.
I think of those forwards, and I think about they are really good when they're carrying the ball. they attack, they offload the football a lot, but it's not converting into points, and it's certainly not converting into results either. So do you move a few of those on and have some more complementary players so it's a bit more even out, like your Capewell versus Fafita? So if you're Parra, you don't go and sign Fafita, you go and get a Capewell style of player.
No, yeah, I think you're right, but like they've got a great side. I think Ryles will come in and he'll change a lot of the systems that they had, and he'll bring his defensive systems that he's learnt from Melbourne, from Roosters, and he'll implement them into the team, and hopefully that changes their mindset that Campbell Gillard and Junior Paulo have towards defence and, worrying about defending better than attacking. And I know he's good at it. He was the defensive coach for Melbourne for the few years that I was there, and he knows the ins and outs of the whole club. So, I think it's hard for me to say you got to move some players on because I'm a current player. But like you say, Madison and Cartwright, they're two back rowers that, one of them's coming off the bench. It's probably, you probably can get a good trade for a pure middle. Yeah. That can come off the bench and work hard.
Yeah, Sean Lane's in there as well. Like, they're all really good players, but for me, it's all a bit samey. Where they probably need someone a little bit different. But just with Ryles as well,
who's on the market?
Well, that's the difficult one, isn't it? But things move late.
Yeah.
Like, even a guy like Tupanua from the Roosters, he's just gone to the Bulldogs. Like,
that's a great signing.
With that mentality, that like he's become available. Great signing for the Bulldogs because of the type of player that he is. He'll slot straight into that system, and he'd be brilliant. And the competition now for spaces in that edge back row, obviously kick out is the main one. Then you got Tupanua and Jacob Preston. And
Tupanua can play in the middle. He played a lot of middle throughout his career, coming off the bench for the Roosters. So he's got a lot of leg speed. He's kind of he can play anywhere. Like, he plays centre, he plays front row, he plays back row.
He looks weird in the centres.
Yeah, but he's doing a job at the moment.
I know, but it just
he defended against Moses Sully, and he gets up and he's not the normal centre. He's just under pressure all the time, so he goes up and tries to whack blokes. But I think it's a great signing, and I wish you didn't take him from us though.
Yeah, but obviously players like that become available that had Ryles have been in a few weeks ago. Maybe Parramatta could have done some wheeling and dealing and bought him in, and the good thing is they've got saleable assets. So if there are players on contract, there are within that group that other clubs would go, we'll take them and take them where the Parra don't have to pay them to leave. I think that's probably something he's got to look to do. Obviously, he gets Lomax in next year as well,
that's a big signing.
He brings them something different. The combination of Lomax and Ben Hunt has been.
Where's Lomax going to play? Fullback.
Geez, I don't know. Well, he signed to play. He wanted to play centre, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's been killing it on the wing.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. I just think, like, knowing Ryles, he'll want Gutherson at fullback because Gutherson is a work hard mentality type of guy, just a guy that's just always going to be there. And Lomax, you can put him anywhere; it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but that combination, Moses kicking for Lomax, whatever position he's playing, that's going to be, maybe that's a bit of where the Parramatta look to go to in terms of, we don't need that offload attack. Let's just let Mitch Moses run it, be on ball, play a bit more direct. They were a bit sideways against South Sydney on the weekend, but then have a mentality of, let's just get to the end of our sets and then let Mitch and Zach take over.
Yeah.
Get Blaise Talangi to run the football, Dylan Brown to run the football, although Blaise Talangi, where he plays, if everybody's fit, that's another question. Just quickly as well on Ryles coming in, like Parramatta, their fans, they want to see results for the NRL team, but they get beyond pissed off that Penrith have got this production line and Parra struggle to produce players. So how much resources do they need to put into that in order to be a real focus point to get these juniors that seem to be there, but either they can't keep them, they can't convince them to stay, or they're just not, they're not coming through.
Well, that's the touch of Gus Gould, I think. Like, you have a look at the Bulldogs now, all their grades, all their reserve grades, their lower under 20s, they're all playing good footy. Like, they're all up there in the ladder and stuff. And I think that's what Gus focuses on, is the development of the club. And then you get the rewards. It takes a little while, but you get the rewards later on. And Parra might have to look into something like that.
Well, I know Josh Hodgson actually is doing a fair bit of work there with that pathway system, who is, again, like Ryles, an incredibly dedicated young coach.
He looks old, though.
He does look very old. He does.
He looks weathered.
He does, but I know he's doing some great work there. I've spoke to some people at the club that are so impressed with his work ethic and his want to learn as a coach, and the amount of time that he's got for those young players. So with a person like that in this system, maybe Ryles can trust somebody like Josh to take care of that. But yeah, I'm glad for Parramatta fans. They've got some stability with their players now. They can, start to have conversations with Ryles and senior management about, what the plans are moving forward.
He was a very popular person at the Roosters, so I dare say he might be having a few chats with the boys. And there's a lot of depth at the Roosters, Jesus.
There is.
There's a lot of players that aren't playing first grade that probably should be playing first grade, so... I'll be looking for Jason Ryles to send some text out to the Roosters boys.
Just don't.
He was a fan favourite. Everyone loves him. He's just that lovable guy, and he's such a kid brain though. Like, sends out those memes still, like all the funny videos and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, to be a rugby league coach. Yeah. Round review. Got to start with the Bulldogs. 15-14.
Back to back field goal.
Matt Burton off the post. Thought we blew it. Reid Marnie.
He hit the post last week, didn't he?
I can't remember. Yeah, I think he might have done, yeah. Like, Bulldogs defending, charge down, defend again, finally get the ball. I don't even know who played it, and Reid Marnie's staring into space.
Yeah, mate. The one he missed, though, was a sitter, and he missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's he doing there?
I know. But like, just funny, Bulldogs fans and anybody associated with the club, like, the last few years has been disappointing. But it's emotional in I feel disappointed and a bit let down when you watch a team who, like, are struggling to compete and not really going to make the 8, and if you lose a tight game, you're like, with whatever. But with this Bulldogs team, and with challenging for, like, the 8, the top 4, and because they're actually good, it's so fucking stressful.
Yeah.
Like, I did not enjoy that game.
That was the Bulldogs to start the season. Like, they were the team that you thought, like, they're in their fight, but, like, they're just not.
Yeah.
They've not got it. And now they've fucking got it. Like, they're the second best defensive team in the comp, and they work hard for each other. And I actually love watching them play, because there's a lot of times where teams look like they're going to score against them and they just show up for each other.
It's incredible, but it's stressful. So be careful what you wish for. Like, as a fan.
And that was the Warriors side that played some of their best footy this year. And they had a few injuries. They're bloody struggling with injuries at the moment, the Warriors. But they played so well, and they just couldn't come away with the cookies.
Yeah, the stress of sport.
And you're with the Bulldogs now. You've done wonderful things with them, obviously.
Oh, mate, yeah. Just take all that credit.
What do you actually do at the Bulldogs?
Corporate stuff. Yeah. I'm doing a sports lunch with Josh Reynolds in Bundaberg.
So
No phones allowed.
Fuck all.
You're probably right
Sorry.
there. You're probably right there, Cheese. But yeah, it was another fantastic victory. Bulldogs fans daring to dream. The fact it went to Golden Point meant I was late for dinner with my parents on Saturday, which I was in the boardroom box, and it went to Golden Point. I said, look, I'm going to have to say goodbye to everyone now. I'm not going, but as soon as this game finishes, I'm out of a core stadium. So I was like, yes, and then sprinted out. And then this lady who was on security like shouted at me for running down the escalators.
What do you mean running down the escalator? Like,
well, you know,
well, it's pretty dangerous. But
but that's it's on me.
Yeah, that's true.
She actually was like, slow down, and then I just kept running, and she's like, oh, well, don't listen to me then. I was like, look, I don't need anyone looking after me. If I fall over running down this escalator,
man.
like if I fall over running down this escalator, it's on. It would not affect you in any way, shape, or form. Like you probably have to call an ambulance.
I wouldn't like to see you fall down the escalator.
No, I wouldn't like to fall down it either.
Nice sight. But
you know what? If I damaged my ribs, broke a leg, it's all on me. It's me picking up the pieces. I'm not suing your core stadium for, or the lady on security didn't tell me that. It's just,
didn't tell me to
it's
slow
on
down.
me. It's on me. I'll take responsibility for that. But I was still late.
Yeah.
Couldn't find my car in P1.
Well, it's like, how late do you want to be? Do you run down the escalator or do you not run down the escalator?
Well, but if you invest time...
Because if you're late, you're late.
But, yeah, I know. But with P1, if you invest time by being first cab in, like to get to your car, you can get out of there. Yeah. But what you don't want to do is be dawdling, walking at a slow pace, saying hello, stopping for anyone to see you to stop for a picture because it's like, I've got to get to my car. Like you want to be,
you got to get out of there.
So you've got to get in your vehicle ASAP and then get out. It's not as bad.
Yeah, but that's common knowledge.
If you dawdle, if I'm walking down that escalator at a regular pace, I'm like 10 cars back. It's that sliding doors moment where you're like, now look where I am. So not investing that 1 minute of hard energy to run to your car saves you probably 10 minutes of queue time. Where if you dawdle and walk and take 2 or 3, you're going to pay the price a little bit later
classic
on.
Fully knowledge.
Yeah.
If you work hard early, you get the rewards.
Yeah. You cruise. Yeah. There's not much traffic on the extra mile, Cheese, if you go there. That's what it comes down to, my friend. But yes, it was a great win for the Bulldogs. Another great game on Saturday. Manly against the Cowboys. Scott Drinkwater's 2-point field goal was immense.
It was a good kick, but I just wish they won the game, so it made it look even cooler.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, when Nathan Cleary kicked that
against Parra.
Parra, and they lost the game.
Yeah.
It kind of just, that highlight kind of got pushed to the back end. So
when they brought in the 2-point field goal from 40 out, I was a bit like, it's a bit of a gimmick.
I love it.
I love it now, but when it was first got introduced, I was like, well, no one will be able to do it anyway, and it's a bit meh. But what a
Matt Burton's field goals he kicked, the one last week, it went over the post, nearly went over the tip of the post from about 30 out. Like, he's just got a monster boot.
I reckon between him and Asako, you're going to go from 60?
Yeah. I reckon Matt hits it from 60.
Yeah. But yeah, Scott Drinkwater manages to, well, it looks like it's going to rescue the game, but then Manly just had enough. Big win for Manly. They really needed that, I thought.
Yeah, it's a problem with Manly. We were watching the game. I was playing games with Terrell May, PlayStation, and we were watching the game on the side, and we're like, as soon as this goes to Golden Point against Manly win.
Yeah.
DC is he's just built diffy, bro. He does
thrive.
Even that try assist he had on the first try was, he's going to play 400 games, I reckon.
He does seem to thrive in those clutch moments, DCE. Like we said, Trebojevic in the centres, it's a difficult one that I think if Manly would be better with Turbo at fullback, and they're a more dangerous team. But just how often can he play there?
Yeah. It's like, is the centre thing a permanent thing?
I think it's he's going to do it for a few weeks and sort of manage that.
Cola's out for next month.
Oh, Cola's out for a month.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that might change things. Then you might have
who's
to.
that young fella they had in there?
Hawaii.
He was pretty good.
It's a hard one because I think Manly are such a better team with him at fullback, but they sort of need him on the field in some capacity. Can you be playing the centre over $1 million? No,
Yeah,
I don't think you
it's
can.
weird because like he's probably the best in the world at that position when he's on, and you can't play him there because there's a risk. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's quite the predicament for Seabold. But Manly are certainly in finals contention, like a lot of teams as well. The Knights got a win against the Canberra Raiders. I reckon that was a knockout game for me.
What for Canberra?
Well,
My voice is deteriorating.
it is sliding. I don't think Canberra and Newcastle play finals. I think it's one or the other, or maybe none. So for me, yesterday, that game to beat, for Newcastle to beat one of their top 8 rivals, I think that it makes it very difficult for Canberra, and obviously increases Newcastle's chance. They're on 8-8, so they're right in the mix.
So what do they need? 5 more?
5 more
From
or
what?
do the Knights have a draw?
5 more from what? More? How many games?
8-8. So they've played 16. There's 8 games left. They need 5 from 8. So
Doable.
yeah, and with Ponga being back, that's a huge boost. They've got a big game coming up against the Broncos actually after Origin, which is going to be
That will
massive.
be a big game because
Massive.
Broncos need a W.
They do. They were much better against Penrith Panthers. Like, that's probably the best performance of the year, performance-wise, but they still didn't get the victory against Penrith, who were just a class above. But the Broncos, they look like the team that had one of those meetings where it's like the season starts now and we're going to go. Because if they performed like that in some of their other previous games, they get the victory, and we're not having this conversation.
Yeah, it was good to see Reece Walsh get so involved in the game. Like, you know, those superstar fullbacks, they can go in and out of the game. Whereas like Tedesco and Dylan Edwards, they're in the game for the whole 80 minutes. But yeah, just see him get hand on ball, just back himself, it was awesome. But yeah, the injuries are killing them. They lost their halfback again. I don't know how bad his injury was.
I think he's out for like 4 to 5 weeks. So Reynolds will be back by the time Jock Madden's back. But the Broncos,
They need to start notching up some wins soon.
yeah. Well, they've got the Dragons this week with no Origin players, but they will have Lomax and Hunt missing too.
Yeah.
So, but with, yeah, it's still a tough one. I reckon it's this. You're almost in must-win territory for the Broncos. Like, they can't afford to give 2 points to the Dragons as well.
Well, what are they on? How many wins?
Dragons are 8-8.
No, Broncos.
Broncos are 7-9.
Yeah, so they need 6 from 8.
Yeah. Like,
They need a win.
yeah, they do. Yeah, they can't afford to drop this one. They really can't. The Storm just keep turning the screws, and
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, I think Jerome Hughes is the best player in the world right now.
you reckon?
Yeah, he is just on bloody fire. It's so annoying. Luke Keary actually said it to me after the game. We just played. He said Jerome Hughes is the reason they're winning so many games, and I got to agree with him. And it's so hard to agree with him because he's such an arsey bloke. He's just rat's ass. But I love him. But he's
Yeah, Hughes, mate. You know what? You're probably right, because Hughes.
I can't name many better players than him at the moment.
Yeah, he's under the radar there at Melbourne, obviously with the Sydney media
That's what
and
they
stuff.
do. They fly under the radar.
They
Melbourne.
do. They do it
always
well.
do.
Yeah, it's strange because the Storm don't need to play at their best to get wins.
Yeah.
Which is frightening because they've still got a few gears to go, I believe. Same with Penrith. Same definitely with the Broncos. The Sharks, one of those teams in the top 4 that are on the slide. They've lost 4 of their last 5, and they are in free fall after they had that difficult period of the season where they played yourselves, the Broncos, the Storm, and the Panthers, and they came out of that, and it was actually all right. I think they obviously got pumped by the Panthers. They beat you guys. They beat Brisbane. Did they beat the Storm, Charlie?
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, so would they come away from that period and they would be pretty happy. But their starts recently have been atrocious.
Well, it's like an opposite Sharks to the Sharks we know. Sharks of last year were beating every team they should have beat, but never any teams that were, they could have lost or could have won. But they never won those 50-50 games. And yeah, it's hard to see them go like that because I know, I love Nico so much, and I know how tough it would be on him because he cops a lot of the scrutiny. But yeah, it's not.
They just left themselves way too much to do, and like they came back into the contest, but
a lot of the tries were straight through the middle.
First 7 minutes, I don't think the Sharks touched the ball. Like, it was a horrible start, and they keep talking about it, but they're not implementing it. There was a piece in the newspaper today and just talking about how much they miss Dale Finucane, and I think the quote was like, "You don't know what you've got till it's gone," and like I think that's true with Dale. I know he's still in and around the changing rooms and in the training, but obviously you want him next to you on that field.
Yeah, he's definitely someone you feel safer when you're running next to out on the field, and yeah, they probably are missing him a little bit.
But the Sharks I reckon they'll be fine, and they'll be judged in September again. Moving into questions, there's been some great questions from our listeners, so thank you, listeners. Because last week, look, we challenged the listeners last week because there were some poor ones, so you have responded. Also, big thank you for everybody that is supporting, subscribing, liking the podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. It really does help support the show. So thank you again for all that. First question from Dave_Omar. Which club has the most intimidating supporters as an opposing player?
I actually wouldn't have a clue. I don't really.
Bulldogs, maybe?
I have no idea. I don't focus on them whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's tunnel vision when I'm out on the field. Like, can't really hear anything.
You never get much abuse from opposing fans?
I got sin bin one time. I got a heap of abuse from a Sharks fan.
I always thought Manly, because where you come out and they get quite
the cage.
close. Yeah, the cage. That can be a bit like... And we had some good games. I enjoyed going to Manly to Brookvale.
Yeah, they were pretty abusive. But like when you're on the field, like because the rivalry between Melbourne and Manly was kind of a potent one. But when you're on the field, I just don't hear a thing.
Okay. _Scraggy _ Scraggy. Look, this has got some... I'm not going to get you to answer this question, Cheese, but this question's got some potential. So, Scraggy, I reckon, come back to us next week. If you could swap lives with any fictional character for a day, but you had to spend that day stuck in an elevator, who would you choose and why? Well,
that's a great question, and I need time to think about it.
Yeah, but also, I don't know if I'm going to be a fictional character that I'm stuck in an elevator. Maybe if that was the price to pay, like I can go and be a fictional character for a day, but I have to be stuck in an elevator for a day.
Like by yourself?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Like maybe that's the price of entry. I'll take that. But Scraggy, just fix that up a little bit, and we probably need a little bit of time to think.
Well, like I wouldn't want to be anyone stuck in an elevator.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah,
but would you? Yeah, I there's no one I'd want to be.
Well, it's not like it'd be cool to be Superman if you're just stuck in an elevator the whole day.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be. But what's the point? So, but maybe if you were to be Superman, you have to just spend 24 hours in an elevator.
Well, no,
and then you get
no
to be
elevators holding Superman back.
no,
anyways.
but Brandon Smith spends 24 hours in an elevator, and then for the next 24 hours, you get to be Superman.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I probably couldn't do it.
Oh, I'd do 24 hours in an elevator, no drama, as long as there's food and stuff and water.
Oh, I don't think you're doing that.
What if I got
24 hours in an elevator?
Yeah, but the prize at the end of it is
You get to be Superman for a day.
well, maybe
That would suck.
Yeah, but
24 hours in an elevator, you'd lose the plot.
I tend to lose the plot not being stuck in an
24
elevator, so nothing
hours.
really changes there. Who would is Superman who you go to?
No, it wouldn't be.
Who's
It
your
was
fictional
just-
character?
Fictional character. Johnny Sins, maybe.
Who?
That's where Charlie's head's at and James Graham's head's not at.
Who's Charlie Sins?
You don't know Johnny Sins?
No.
He's a jack of all trades.
What?
You search him up one day.
Am I missing something here?
I think all the listeners know who Johnny Sins is. Yeah. But it's great for you that you don't know who Johnny Sins is. It's actually impressive that you don't know who Johnny Sins is.
Why is it impressive?
Well, when you find out who he is, you'll understand. It just goes to show that you're a mature man.
Johnny Sins. Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being him for 24 hours.
Right, okay. He's been involved in some interesting sounding movies.
Yeah. He's not so fictional, though.
No. Well,
Who would your fictional character be?
it would be pretty cool to be Superman because you'd be able to fly.
Yeah.
So yeah, boom, that's it. Yeah. I'm not looking for a sense of adventure. I'm not looking to like solve crimes or be the rescue guy.
And he's
I'd
fairly
just
good
fly
looking, too.
I'd just fly around all day.
You would just want to be a bird then.
No, but I'd want to be a person bird that can fly. Yeah, that's who I'd go with, I reckon.
I wouldn't go on an elevator for 24 hours to be Superman for a day, though. I wouldn't do it.
There was a good question about Jared, actually. Tell me about how the presence of JWH impacts your attitude and performance. Just quietly as well. No, just quickly. We were saying, or Charlie was saying about that iconic image of him leaving the field covered in blood.
It was kind of a picture that painted a thousand.
A picture that painted 1,000 words.
Whatever that saying is, it was the script that was written. He was getting Simban. He was walking off with blood all over his face. That's just him. But Jared demands a lot of you as a player and as a person. He expects you to, I guess, give your all. And if you don't, he'll tell you about it. But you just feel safe when you're next to him on the field. You know, no one's going to bully you or anything like that. And if someone's running at you, he's going to come clean them up from the side. He just makes you feel safe on the field, makes you feel 10 feet taller. And, mate, that game of the weekend, he intimidated the whole front row.
He went after Molo a couple of times.
He went after Molo. And it's just, he's been that guy for so many years. And he's just never faltered from being that guy. Like he's a genuine warrior, and like his mentality and his approach to a game is just. And then when he's not playing or training, he's a completely different bloke. It's so weird.
It's amazing that he's managed to play for so long with considering the fashion and the style that he plays with.
Yeah,
like that takes
dog.
a toll on your body. Like it really does. So, I tell you what though. He's gone to Hull KR next year. He'll play about 3 games.
Yeah, he'll be on holiday.
Well, they're changing the tackle height rules. Good luck,
Great signing, Hull.
KR.
Sorry.
Oh, mate, they'd be
There's
fuming.
2 different. Yeah, one's caca, one's good. Both caca.
They're both all right. Nah. All right, that wraps us up, Cheese. Enjoy
thank
the
God.
bye and recover well.